The new ship arrived without warning, drifting out of the pale morning sky like a quiet thought that had slipped into reality. No alarms sounded when it appeared. No distress message accompanied its descent. It simply glided toward Elysian Outpost as if it had always belonged there and had only stepped away for a moment. The first people to see it were two engineers who were finishing their early shift checks. They stared upward, shading their eyes, not sure if the dim sunlight was playing tricks on them. But even in that soft glow, they could see its smooth silver hull and the faint shimmer of energy around its engines. The ship made no sound, not even the usual gentle rumble of atmospheric entry. It drifted like a feather descending a staircase. Slow and controlled, even though it appeared empty, every detail of its landing suggested intention. The stabilizers flared softly, balancing its weight, and it touched the landing platform with such quiet precision that the sensors barely registered the contact. Everyone expected an announcement, maybe a nervous voice asking for docking instructions, or a tired pilot requesting medical help, or even a cheerful greeting from some researcher returning early. But the communication channels remained silent. Not a single signal came from the craft. The outpost's central system scanned for life forms, checked internal pressure, analyzed thermal signatures, everything they normally did. All reports returned the same surprising result. The ship contained no one. Captain Leora Hayes stood near the observation glass, watching the mysterious vessel settle on the landing pad. She was calm by nature, someone who many described as steady as gravity, but brighter than a flare. Her dark hair was tied back loosely, and her brown eyes tracked every tiny detail outside. The outpost staff trusted her instincts more than any algorithm, and right now, her instincts were whispering something she couldn't translate yet. Her second-in-command, Aaron Solari, approached with a tablet in hand. Scans confirmed 0 life signs. No biosignatures. No heat that would suggest living crew. Leora didn't reply immediately. Her eyes remained fixed on the ship. It had a strange beauty, smooth lines, a shape that seemed grown rather than constructed, and a faint, luminescent pattern on its hull that pulsed slowly, almost like breath. But what caught her attention most was how familiar it looked, even though she knew she had never seen anything like it. "Engines are still warm," Aaron added, his tone puzzled. "Not hot enough for a chase or rapid landing, but warm like someone just finished a routine trip." She finally looked at him. Something brought it here. Something guided it. Empty ships don't fly themselves unless someone designed them to. Aaron nodded. "Should we assume it's autonomous?" Leora gave a small, thoughtful shake of her head. "Autonomous ships always transmit some form of handshake code. This one is completely silent. Almost too silent." They both knew that silence, in space travel, often carried louder meaning than noise. Within minutes, a small crowd gathered at the edges of the landing area behind the safety lines. People spoke in unsure whispers, as though afraid a louder voice might disturb something important. A few took pictures. Others simply watched with wide curiosity. The outpost rarely saw visitors, let alone a ship that appeared unannounced and pilotless. Leora stepped out onto the platform with her inspection team. The morning air was cool, and she could feel a faint vibration coming from the mysterious ship as they neared it, like the purr of a sleeping machine. The team wore standard environment suits not because they expected danger, but because procedure demanded caution. Still, something about this felt different, more delicate, almost sacred. They approached the engines first. Aaron knelt down, placing a gloved hand near the metal surface without touching it. A soft glow still pulsed inside the engine vents, faint but consistent. "It feels like residual warmth," he said, leaning slightly closer. "Similar to human-designed plasma engines, but not identical. The temperature is too stable." One of the engineers, Mara Finch, ran a scanner across the hull. "Material composition unknown," she said slowly. "But it reacts to scanner pulses like it expects them. It's absorbing and reflecting them in a controlled manner." "That shouldn't be possible," Aaron muttered. "Maybe not for our technology," Leora replied, her voice steady. But it seems very possible for whoever built this. She took another step forward. No warning lights flashed. No automated defenses activated. If the ship had a security system, it either did not consider them a threat, or it was purposely allowing them access. Leora didn't know which possibility unsettled her more. "Open the main hatch," she instructed. Mara found no visible handles or access points, so she simply raised her hand, touched the hull gently with her glove, and the metal rippled under her fingers. The entire side of the ship responded like calm water touched by wind. Lines of light traveled from Mara's touch outward, tracing shapes, reading something unseen, and then the hatch unfolded silently, seamlessly, revealing a narrow ramp that extended toward them. The crowd behind the safety line gasped. Someone whispered, "It's alive." Leora didn't entertain that idea aloud, but deep down she felt the same impression. The ship behaved more like a creature greeting them than a machine opening on command. They stepped inside with slow, measured movements. The interior was bright but soft, illuminated by white lighting that seemed to have no single source. Everything glowed gently, casting no harsh shadows. The air inside smelled faintly of something like clean metal and rain, after a storm, an oddly comforting scent. The floor adjusted its brightness under their steps, not reacting randomly, but as though lighting their path. The control room was the first major space they encountered. It looked strangely familiar, like the cockpit of a human shuttle, but refined, smoother, more intuitive. Control panels seemed designed to be touched, not clicked. Seats were arranged in a semicircle, yet none were occupied. There were no personal items, no clothing, no tools left behind. Only the gentle hum of systems running quietly. Aaron approached a console and tentatively reached out. The surface brightened under his fingertips, forming symbols that rearranged themselves into clean, readable text that looked unmistakably human-derived. He froze, staring. "Captain, the interface is adapting to my language patterns." Leora joined him, scanning the symbols herself. "It shouldn't know our linguistic structure, and yet it does," Aaron replied, his voice low, almost reverent. Another member of the team explored the navigation table. It displayed a holographic projection of the local star systems, but it layered them with unknown routes, thin strands of light that curved in ways human pilots wouldn't consider. Each route ended at the same point, Elysian Outpost. It was a deliberate path, a chosen destination. Someone had sent this ship here on purpose. "Captain," Mara called from a side panel. "The logs. They're encrypted in patterns I've never seen, but I can pick up energy signatures from before landing. They match. Human neural resonance patterns." Aaron blinked. "You mean the ship logged data using a kind of brainwave mapping?" "Similar, but not exactly human brainwaves," Mara clarified. "It's almost like a blend, as if someone studied the human brain enough to create a synthetic equivalent." Leora placed her hand on a nearby console. "But why would someone do that?" The ship answered her in a way that made her breath catch. A soft pulse of light traveled through every panel at once, like a heartbeat rolling through the vessel. The lights adjusted, brightening slightly. A low chime echoed a welcoming sound, not mechanical, but soothing and melodic. "It's responding to you," Aaron said quietly. Leora stepped back slightly, unsure how to feel. "It shouldn't know who I am, or who any of us are." "It might not know us personally," Mara said, "but whoever built it clearly understands humans." A silence fell over the group as they took in the truth of that statement. Humans had spent generations reaching for the stars, trying to understand alien civilizations, yet here was proof that at least one civilization understood humanity, deeply, perhaps more deeply than humans understood themselves. They moved deeper into the ship, exploring its narrow corridors. The walls displayed soft patterns that shifted gently when touched. They passed small rooms with smooth, curved surfaces that seemed to respond to breath and movement. Everything inside was pristine. No dust, no fingerprints, no mark of previous passengers. In a small chamber near the center of the ship, they found something unexpected. A single floating sphere of light. It hovered silently, humming with faint energy. As they approached, It brightened slowly, like a friendly eye-opening. Leora felt the warm air around it. Not too warm, just comfortable, like gentle sunlight. She didn't touch it, sensing she didn't need to. The sphere projected a soft beam toward the nearest wall. And an image appeared, an intricate pattern resembling a web of lines. Only after a moment did they realize what it looked like. A simplified map of a human brain. More specifically, a neural activation pattern that appeared in human decision-making during navigation. Something only humans displayed during moments of instinctive spatial reasoning. "Captain," Aaron whispered, "I think the ship is telling us it was guided by human thought, or something built to imitate human decision processes." "But there is no pilot," Mara added. "Not anymore," Aaron corrected, his voice careful. Leora stared at the projection. It had no words, no audio message, no explanation, and yet she felt it was trying to communicate, to show them something meaningful, something important. The warm energy of the sphere flickered gently, casting bright rings that reflected across the walls. Leora realized something then, something simple yet profound. This ship was not abandoned. It was waiting. But waiting for what, or who? She didn't know yet. But she was certain of one thing. Whatever the purpose of this arrival was, it involved humans directly. The ship hadn't stumbled here. It had chosen this place, this outpost. These people, and its engines, still warm to the touch, told her that whoever sent it had not been gone for long. The mystery was only beginning. After spending hours exploring the first sections of the ship, Leora and her team began to feel the weight of curiosity pressing on them. They returned to the central control area to study the holographic map of neural pathways, which continued to glow softly, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's gentle hum. Each pulse seemed to suggest movement, almost like the ship was breathing alongside them. It wasn't simply a machine. It was a presence. Aaron leaned closer, scanning the projections with the outpost's portable analyzer. "I've tried to decode these pathways," he said. "But it's not just language. It's patterns of thought, decision-making processes. Almost like the ship can anticipate what we'll do next." End quote. Mara Finch touched the wall beside her, and the surface rippled lightly. "Every surface here reacts to human touch," she said. "Not randomly. It knows we're here and adjusts. This isn't just a ship, it's designed for us." Leora stood silently, considering the implications. She had spent years navigating alien encounters, strange cosmic phenomena, and systems humans barely understood. And yet this was different. The ship wasn't hostile. It wasn't damaged. It wasn't lost. It had traveled across vast space, and it had landed precisely where it wanted. "Let's see if it has records of its journey," Leora said at last. "If it's been traveling, maybe we can understand why it came here." The team returned to the control room. Aaron carefully manipulated the holographic display, trying to bring up any logs the ship might hold. At first, the panels resisted, shifting patterns under his fingers, refusing to show simple lines of text or familiar code. Then, gradually, sequences of light and symbols emerged, rearranging themselves as if in real time. "Look at this," Aaron said, pointing to the projection. "It's a record of its path. But the paths, they're not just through space. They're through areas we don't even have charts for. Not systems, not asteroid belts, not known anomalies. There are regions here that we didn't even know existed." Leora studied the map. She traced her finger along one of the glowing strands. Each path curved elegantly, almost like a river flowing through a universe of stars. They twisted and turned through pockets of space that seemed improbable, weaving around gravitational wells and nebulae with astonishing precision. "It's not just traveling. It's navigating something we can't perceive with our instruments. It's intelligent." Aaron frowned. "More than intelligent. It's learning. Each movement seems adaptive. Every route it takes adjusts slightly based on previous conditions. Whoever built this, they didn't just make a ship. They made a ship that understands thought itself." Mara shook her head, her hair falling softly across her face. "And it's designed to recognize humans specifically. I can feel it. Every interface we touch adjusts to our touch. our movements, even the speed at which we think. I've never felt anything like this. Leora leaned against the console, studying the patterns. They were intricate, delicate, almost beautiful. They reminded her of the way rivers split into streams or neurons in a brain lit up when solving a complex puzzle. Somehow, the ship had learned to mimic human reasoning, or perhaps it was built to respond to it. What if the ship wasn't sent for rescue? Or research? Or even exploration? She asked. What if it was sent for us? Aaron looked at her, eyes wide. Do you mean humans specifically? Leora nodded slowly. Yes. Think about it. The ship arrives empty. It has no crew. No passengers. Its engines are warm as if recently active. Every interface responds to us personally. Every path it has traveled was precise. Someone wanted humans to find this ship, to use it. Mara turned to the central sphere of light that had guided them earlier. It hovered calmly, casting soft shadows across the room. And yet, it's waiting, she said. It hasn't made a single demand, no instructions, no pressure, just waiting. Leora stepped closer to the sphere. She felt the warmth it emitted, the steady pulse that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Then it's up to us to understand what it wants, to see why it chose this outpost, these people, this moment. The team spent the next hours exploring further. They discovered small chambers along narrow corridors, each glowing softly. Some rooms contained delicate equipment that seemed to measure unknown energies. Others displayed patterns of light that changed based on who walked past. In every case, the ship seemed to adjust instinctively, guiding them forward without words. In one chamber, they found a set of projections resembling tiny models of planets, asteroids, and stars, all rotating gently in midair. Lines of light connected them, showing routes across space that no human map had ever recorded. Aaron reached out, touching one of the lines, and the projection shifted instantly, highlighting a path in a way that suggested suggestion rather than command. It's giving us options, Aaron said. It's not telling us where to go, just showing what's possible. And it adjusts based on what we do. Mara smiled faintly. It's like it's trying to teach us, not force us, just show us the way. Leora's mind raced. Whoever had created this ship had clearly studied humans, our instincts, our thinking, even our curiosity itself. It wasn't just a machine, it was a puzzle, a challenge, a gift, and it was intended for humans to solve. Hours passed, and the team discovered more subtle responses. The ship adjusted temperature and airflow based on their activity. It provided illumination where their attention lingered, and dimmed where it noticed them resting. Even the soft hum of energy shifted slightly in rhythm with their footsteps, as though it was learning their presence and adapting to it. By late afternoon, the team gathered back in the central chamber. The sphere hovered quietly, pulsing in steady rhythm. Leora studied it, a sense of awe settling in her chest. We've seen enough to know it's not random. Someone, something, built this for us. Aaron frowned, still scanning the projections. But why? Who would go to all this effort just for humans? There's no evidence of another crew. No message. Nothing indicating they're nearby. Leora thought for a long moment. Maybe that's the point. It's not about the sender. It's about us. Someone, somewhere, decided that humans should have a chance to step into something bigger than ourselves. And this ship is the key. Mara tilted her head, looking at the patterns of light on the walls. It feels encouraging, she said softly, like it believes we can figure it out, that we can understand it. And maybe that's the message. We're ready for something more. The room was quiet for a long moment. No alarms, no signals. Only the gentle hum of energy and the soft pulse of light. Leora realized that this calm, patient presence was deliberate. Whoever had sent this ship had anticipated humans' natural curiosity. They had left something open, not closed. Something alive, yet empty enough to invite discovery. Let's follow the coordinates, Leora said at last. If the ship wants to guide us, we need to see where it leads, Aaron nodded. But it's unlike anything we've ever seen. The navigation patterns are complex. They move through regions no human has charted. It might take us far. That's exactly why we need to go, Leora replied. If the ship brought itself here, it must want us to use it. And if it wants us to use it, then it trusts us to explore, to think, to decide. The team returned to the control area and began preparing for activation. Panels shifted under their hands, lights brightened where attention lingered. And the ship seemed to respond with calm anticipation. No energy surged unexpectedly. No systems sparked without reason. Everything was measured, gentle, and deliberate. As they activated the propulsion systems, the warm hum of the engines strengthened slightly. It was no longer just residual warmth. It was alive with potential energy, waiting to take them wherever the ship was meant to go. The air inside the cabin seemed to shimmer slightly, carrying the faint scent of clean metal and something like morning dew. Aaron's hand hovered over a console, hesitating. It's amazing, he said softly. I've seen advanced technology before, but it's different. It feels almost sentient. Leora placed her hand over his. It's responding to us, she said. But that doesn't mean it controls us. We are still making the choices. That's what it wants. To see what we'll do. The ship's hum grew warmer, and a soft light traced the edges of the interior, highlighting every surface with gentle clarity. The projections of the stars and routes shifted again, this time showing paths that extended far beyond the known galaxy. The lines of light twisted and curved, branching into complex networks that no human map had ever recorded. This is incredible, Mara whispered. It's showing us the universe in a way I've never imagined, and it's tailored to us every path, every adjustment, everything adapts to our presence, our decisions. Leora nodded. We are not passengers. We are participants. The ship is inviting us to explore, to understand, to grow. And that is why it came here. Not to be found, not to be owned, but to be used. By humans. By us. As the sun began to set beyond the observation windows, the ship's lights dimmed slightly, reflecting the changing light outside. It was patient. It was gentle, and it was waiting for them to take the first step beyond the known, beyond the ordinary, into the extraordinary. And Leora understood, finally, that whatever lay ahead would not be dangerous. It would not be violent. It would be a journey of discovery, a test of curiosity and intelligence, creativity and thought. The ship was not a threat. It was a mirror, reflecting humanity's potential back to them, asking them to see themselves as the galaxy might see them, capable, curious, and ready. The engines, still warm, hummed softly. The ship had come for them, not to deliver a message, not to demand obedience, but to offer a chance. And Leora, standing at the center of that gentle energy, realized the journey was only beginning. The ship's engines purred softly, as if it were content, yet the gentle warmth that radiated from the metal surfaces reminded Leora that this vessel was far from ordinary. Each panel, each surface, seemed aware of their presence, adjusting to their steps, their glances, their very thoughts. Even after hours of careful exploration, no part of the ship felt static or lifeless. It was as if the entire vessel had been built not just to move through space, but to move with them, to respond to them, to understand them in ways no ordinary machine could. Aaron studied the holographic displays projected across the main chamber. The maps they had seen before now appeared to shift dynamically. Routes branched in ways previously invisible, curving through uncharted space, threading between stars that human instruments had never registered. I think it's teaching us, he said softly. Every path, every choice, every adjustment, It's like it wants us to learn how to think in ways we've never considered. Leora nodded, her gaze fixed on the projections. She traced one of the glowing lines with her finger, following its curves as it twisted through a nebula that seemed impossibly dense. Yet the path avoided every hazard, with careful precision. Not just teaching, she said. It's guiding us to realize our own abilities. Whoever built this ship understands humans. They knew curiosity, intuition, and patience would bring us here. They knew we would figure it out on our own if we had the right tools. Mara moved closer to the central sphere of light. Its glow pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat, synchronizing with the soft hum of the engines. "It feels alive," she whispered. "Not alive like a person, but aware. It knows we're here, and it's letting us decide what to do next." Leora approached the sphere and reached out her hand, hesitating just briefly before touching it. The surface was cool and smooth at first, but then warmth spread into her fingertips, traveling slowly up her arm in a sensation that was both comforting and energizing. The sphere responded immediately, expanding slightly in size and sending a ripple of light across the chamber. The holographic displays adjusted, highlighting new paths, new points of interest, all connected by glowing threads that seemed to trace an invisible network across the galaxy. "It's showing us possibilities," Aaron said, eyes wide as he followed the new lines. "Not instructions. Options. Potential routes. And it changes depending on what we focus on." Mara smiled faintly. "It's like it believes in us. Like it knows we're capable of understanding something bigger than ourselves." Leora studied the patterns carefully. "I think it's more than belief," she said. "It's recognition. The ship knows that humans are adaptable, creative, capable of thinking in ways no other species might. It's designed to respond to our problem-solving, to our intuition, to our decisions." The realization settled over the team like a quiet wave. This wasn't just exploration or technology. It was a mirror. A reflection of humanity's potential, waiting for them to engage fully. The vessel itself seemed to invite them forward, not forcing them, not rushing them, but encouraging them to step into possibilities they had never imagined. After a brief discussion, they decided to follow one of the highlighted paths. The ship's controls adapted immediately to their intention. The panels responded to their touch with fluid motion, translating subtle gestures into precise navigation adjustments. Leora felt a thrill of awe as she realized the ship did not merely carry them through space. It extended their own abilities, enhancing their thinking, anticipating their choices, and guiding them in harmony with their instincts. As the engines warmed and the ship lifted from the landing platform, the soft glow of the control panels reflected on the faces of the team. Outside the observation windows, Elysian Outpost slowly disappeared from view, shrinking into the distance as stars filled the darkness beyond. Yet even as they traveled farther from home, there was no fear in their hearts. Instead, there was curiosity, wonder, and a deep sense of purpose. Hours passed in quiet observation as the ship navigated through unfamiliar space. Leora and her team marveled at the nebulae, the clusters of stars, and the strange, shimmering pockets of light that seemed to pulse gently with energy. The vessel adjusted its speed and trajectory effortlessly, as if it anticipated every decision before it was made. Mara pointed toward a distant point of light. "Look at that," she said. "It's moving." Aaron studied the sensor readings. "Not a planet, not a ship. Some kind of energy phenomenon, I think. And it's adjusting its position slightly, in response to our approach. Almost like it's aware of us." Leora nodded thoughtfully. "The ship must have a purpose beyond simple travel. It's guiding us toward things we wouldn't notice on our own. Observations, discoveries, insights. Perhaps all of these are part of what it was built for." The ship's interiors continued to respond to their presence in subtle ways. Light shifted gently as they moved through corridors. Soft panels adjusted to provide warmth or coolness, and the air remained perfectly balanced, fresh, crisp, and slightly scented with an indescribable note that reminded Leora of early mornings on Earth, when the air was clean and full of potential. At one point, they entered a chamber that seemed to be a library of sorts. Holographic shelves displayed symbols, diagrams, and abstract shapes, all floating in midair. When Mara reached out, the shapes rearranged themselves into structures she could understand. Patterns that resembled mathematical sequences and organic forms combined. "It's not just showing information," she said softly. "It's translating it, adapting it to the way we think. I can understand it." Aaron examined another projection. "It's teaching us in real time. Every time we look, every time we interact, it changes to match our level of understanding." "I've never seen technology like this." Leora's mind raced. Whoever had created this ship had studied humans with extraordinary detail. Not just anatomy, not just language, but thought itself, how humans reason, how humans imagine, how humans approach problems, how humans collaborate. It was a level of understanding that bordered on empathy. "This is bigger than us," Leora said quietly. "Bigger than anything we've encountered. And yet, it's designed for humans. For our minds, our abilities, our curiosity. Whoever built it wants us to succeed, wants us to grow." Hours turned into days as they traveled deeper into uncharted space. The ship led them through dazzling nebulae that shimmered in shades they had no names for. Past stars with flickering energy signatures. Through fields of drifting ice crystals that reflected light like diamonds. Everywhere they went, the vessel adapted. Every sensor, every display, every surface seemed to respond to their presence, enhancing their understanding and their senses. They began to notice subtle messages embedded in the ship's systems. Patterns of light on walls resembled constellations they recognized from home, yet rearranged themselves to form new shapes, new guides, new hints. Sometimes the ship highlighted routes that seemed dangerous, only to show an alternate path moments later that revealed a safe and elegant solution. "It's testing us," Aaron said one evening, his voice quiet in the softly lit control room. "Not for danger, but for understanding. It wants to see how we think, how we respond, how we adapt. And it trusts us to make the right choices," Leora added. "That's the remarkable part. There's no pressure, no urgency, just encouragement." Mara smiled, her eyes reflecting the gentle glow of the ship. "It's like it believes in humans in a way the rest of the galaxy might not. Like it's saying, 'You are capable. You can do this.'" Days turned into a rhythm of discovery. The team learned to anticipate the ship's responses. They discovered that their thoughts and intentions subtly influenced the course of travel. When they wondered about the safety of a path, the ship highlighted energy fluctuations in the route ahead. When they debated which star cluster to explore, the panels rearranged themselves to offer balanced options. It was not a guide in the traditional sense, it was a partner, a collaborator, an extension of their own curiosity and intelligence. One day, they approached a region of space filled with swirling clouds of iridescent energy. The ship slowed, and a soft vibration pulsed through the deck beneath their feet. The central sphere glowed brighter, sending a ripple of warmth through the room. "This is new," Mara said, reaching out to touch the sphere. The patterns of light around her hand expanded, revealing intricate pathways within the energy clouds. "It's showing us how to navigate this space, step by step. If we pay attention, we can move through it safely and learn from it." Aaron studied the energy readings. "It's beautiful. The way the light and energy interact, it's almost like the universe itself is alive. And the ship is helping us see it, understand it." Leora nodded, feeling a deep sense of awe. "It's more than teaching. It's inviting us to participate in the universe, to see it not just as observers, but as thinkers, as explorers, as humans capable of understanding and creation." As they moved through the iridescent clouds, they began to notice subtle messages embedded in the energy patterns themselves, shapes and sequences that mirrored neural activity, sequences that resembled the very pathways of human thought. The ship had led them here intentionally, showing them a way to connect with space in a new, intuitive manner. "This is the purpose," Leora whispered. Not just to travel, not just to explore, but to experience, to understand, to see the universe through human eyes, guided by human intuition. The team spent hours immersed in the experience, learning to move with the ship, to think in rhythm with the pathways, to notice patterns that had been invisible before. It was a dance of thought and energy, a collaboration with the vessel that pushed them to their fullest intellectual and intuitive capacities. By the time they emerged from the iridescent clouds, the team was exhausted, yet exhilarated. The ship had shown them something profound. Humans were capable of perceiving and understanding aspects of the universe that no other species could, and the vessel, designed specifically for them, had amplified that capability, guiding them gently, patiently, with trust and encouragement. Leora looked around at her team, at the glowing panels and the gentle hum of the ship. "We are not passengers," she said softly. "We are participants. And this journey, this is what the ship was built for. To show us what we can do, what we can understand, what humans are capable of." Aaron smiled, exhausted but inspired. "It's amazing," he said. "I never imagined technology could be alive like this. And yet, it's more than alive. It's human. Or maybe it's reminding us of what humans can be." Mara placed a hand on the sphere, which pulsed gently under her touch. "It's patient," she said. "It's waiting for us to discover, to learn, to grow, and it trusts us to make the choices. That's incredible." Leora felt a swell of pride and wonder. For the first time, she truly understood the purpose of this journey. The ship had not just arrived to be found, it had arrived to teach, to guide, to amplify the unique capabilities of humans. It had recognized something extraordinary in them, and now, step by step, it was helping them realize it for themselves. And as the stars stretched out endlessly beyond the observation windows, the team understood that this journey was far from over. The universe held mysteries they could not yet comprehend, but with the ship as their partner, their guide, and their mirror, they knew they were ready. The engines, still warm, hummed softly, carrying them forward into unknown space. And somewhere, in the quiet pulse of the vessel, Leora felt the unmistakable sense that the ship itself was smiling, sharing in the wonder of what humans could achieve when they were trusted, understood, and inspired. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the observation windows, a tapestry of light and dark that seemed both familiar and entirely new. Leora and her team moved through the ship's corridors with a sense of quiet anticipation. Every step, every gesture, was mirrored by the ship's subtle adjustments. Panels shifted, light pulsed, and the air seemed to hum softly with warmth, as though the vessel itself was aware of their thoughts and feelings. They had traveled far beyond Elysian Outpost, beyond the known charts, into regions of space that had never been observed by humans. Nebulae shimmered in colors no one had names for. Clusters of stars pulsed with delicate energy. Fields of drifting crystals reflected the soft light, creating patterns that danced across the ship's interior. And throughout it all, the ship guided them, adapting to their curiosity, responding to their attention, and encouraging their discovery. Leora stood in the main chamber, gazing at the projections that now filled the space around them. The glowing threads stretched outward, mapping a network of possibilities that extended far beyond anything humans had charted before. The ship had led them to a place of extraordinary potential. They had not been passengers, they had been partners, participants, explorers in a universe that had been waiting for humans to arrive. Mara touched the central sphere, which pulsed gently under her hand. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Everywhere we go, it shows us something new, something we wouldn't notice on our own. It's teaching us, guiding us, and trusting us at the same time." Aaron leaned closer to a projection that shimmered with energy. "It's more than guidance," he said softly. "It's showing us the universe as if it expects us to understand it. Not as a passive observer, but as someone who can engage, think, and learn. Someone capable of discovery." Leora nodded slowly. "That's exactly it. Whoever built this ship, knew that humans could do more than survive, more than explore. They could understand, create, and imagine in ways that other species might never reach. And this ship, this vessel, is designed to amplify that, to let us see what we are capable of. The team moved deeper into the vessel, following a path the ship highlighted in gentle pulses of light. The route led them toward a distant cluster of stars that seemed untouched by any charted navigation. As they approached, the stars resolved into a massive structure, a station, immense and shimmering, orbiting a quiet, uncharted sun. Its surface glowed softly, covered with patterns of light that shifted as the ship drew near. "It's incredible," Mara said, her voice filled with awe. "I've never seen anything like it. It's beautiful, alive, and welcoming all at once." Aaron studied the station's energy signature. It's stable, yet dynamic. The structure itself seems to respond to the environment, almost like it's aware of our approach. And judging by the way the ship guided us here, it was meant for us. ATV. Thanks for watching. And we see the main product. Thanks for watching. They use TARM. ATV. Tarmer. Leora felt a sense of understanding settle over her. The ship had brought them here intentionally. This station, this shimmering construct, was the culmination of their journey, a place designed for humans. A place that recognized their curiosity, intelligence, and creativity. As they docked and entered the station, the interiors revealed a breathtaking array of human achievement. Holographic galleries displayed art, music, mathematical patterns, and architecture from across human history. Every creation was represented in vibrant detail, floating in space as though suspended in time. The station seemed to celebrate humanity, not as it was now, but as it could be. "It's a tribute," Aaron whispered. "Someone or something collected these achievements. It's an archive, a record, and a lesson, all at once." Mara touched one of the floating projections. A piece of music played softly, resonating through the station. The notes were familiar, yet carried a subtle resonance that made the listeners feel as if the sound was unfolding inside their own minds. "It's alive," she said. "All of it. Every pattern, every note, every shape, it responds to us, and it feels human." Leora stepped forward, looking around. "It's a reminder," she said. "A reminder of who we are, what we can create, and what we can achieve. Whoever built this wanted humans to see ourselves in the most complete way possible, not just as individuals, but as a species capable of thought, imagination, and wonder." The team explored further, finding sections of the station that displayed interactive simulations. Stars, planets, and cosmic phenomena responded to their input, teaching them principles of navigation, energy, and cosmic mechanics in ways that no traditional classroom ever could. Each interaction was tailored to their abilities, adjusting to their decisions, their curiosity, and their understanding. Aaron turned to Leora. "It's more than a station. It's a teacher, a guide, and a mirror. It's designed to help humans reach our potential, to show us what we can do when we think creatively, when we collaborate, and when we trust our instincts." Leora nodded, feeling a deep sense of connection to the ship, the station, and the journey they had undertaken. "It's also a message. Humanity is not just a species of survivors or explorers. We are capable of insight, creativity, and understanding on a level that even other civilizations might not expect. And someone, somewhere, believed that enough to build this. Just for us." Mara smiled faintly. "It feels like the universe itself is welcoming us. And we're not just observers. We're participants. And this is the start of something new." The ship's engines, still warm from their long journey, hummed softly in the background. The gentle vibration through the deck was a reminder that it had brought them here, had guided them every step, and had trusted them to discover the station on their own. It had been patient, quiet, and encouraging. As the team stood in the station's central chamber, they began to notice subtle signals embedded in the architecture. Lines of light traced intricate patterns across the walls, resembling neural pathways. These patterns aligned with the human brain's natural processes, reflecting thought and intention. The station had been designed to engage them mentally, emotionally, and intellectually. Every action they took was acknowledged, every thought anticipated, every choice valued. "This is remarkable," Aaron said, his voice soft with awe. "It's like someone built a universe for humans to explore, to learn, and to grow in. And they trusted us to understand it." Leora smiled, feeling a mixture of humility and pride. "It's more than trust. It's recognition. They recognized what humans are capable of, and they wanted us to experience it for ourselves. To see our potential reflected back at us in ways we never could have imagined." Hours passed as they explored the station, interacting with projections, simulations, and data systems. Each discovery brought a new insight, a new perspective, a new understanding of the universe and of themselves. They realized that this place was not merely a repository of knowledge, it was an invitation to participate, to create, and to imagine in ways they had never thought possible. By the time they paused to rest, Leora stood in the central chamber once more, gazing at the gentle pulse of light that seemed to permeate every corner of the station. She felt a quiet sense of wonder and responsibility. The journey had been long, the lessons profound, and the possibilities endless. "This isn't the end," she said softly, turning to her team. "It's a beginning. We've been shown what humans can do, what we can understand, and what we are capable of. And now, it's up to us to continue, to grow, and to explore with everything we've learned." Mara nodded, placing a hand on the central sphere of light. "It's waiting for us," she said. "Waiting for us to step forward and continue the journey. And it trusts us to do so with curiosity, care, and courage." Aaron smiled, exhaustion and excitement mingling in his expression. "I've never felt anything like this. It's like the universe itself is welcoming us, showing us a path, and saying, 'You are ready.'" Leora looked around at the team, at the glowing panels, the pulsating light, and the endless stars beyond the station's windows. She felt a deep sense of gratitude not just for the ship, the station, or the journey, but for humanity itself. The ship had arrived empty, yet it had carried the promise of something extraordinary, and in that promise, they had found a reflection of who humans could be. Capable, creative, intuitive, and ready for the next step into the cosmos. As the engines hummed softly, radiating warmth through the decks, Leora realized that the journey would never truly end. Every choice they made, every discovery they pursued, every lesson they learned, would continue to shape not only their own understanding, but the understanding of humanity as a whole. The ship had brought them here to awaken that potential, and now it was their task to nurture it, explore it, and share it with the universe. And so, as the stars stretched endlessly before them, the team took a deep breath, ready to step forward. The ship, still warm, still responsive, and still alive in its gentle, mysterious way, waited patiently. It had brought humanity to the threshold of something extraordinary, and now it was up to them to embrace it, to explore, and to discover what lay beyond, not just in the stars, but within themselves. For the first time, Leora understood fully. Humans were not just passengers in the universe. They were participants, explorers, creators, and thinkers. And the galaxy, in all its vastness and wonder, had been waiting for them to arrive.